They beat Rogue Warriors 2-1. WE are looking pretty good recently, and maybe, oh, I say that actually, they're on a 2-loss streak themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, emotionally they're looking good recently. I don't know where I'm going with this one.
As top, you need to even just expect yourself to 2-0 this series if you want to look to win the LPL.
I hope so.
On the side of WE, you do have the champions that led you to your 3-series win streak where you've beaten teams like Suning, you've beaten teams like Vici, you've taken down Rogue Warriors. So there are a lot of competent wins kind of in your in your book. So this is the comp where WE can challenge top.
This is the opportunity for WE. Hopefully, we see the WE from their wins. Like you rightly say, when they do win, it's off of snowballing. It's off of early advantages and turning it into more.
And also, WE are one of the best teams at moving their solo laners to the objective and setting up that vision first. Especially Morgan, I'd say only behind Zoom, but let's slow down because both WE solo laners are going
We've
here.
seen this before. We've seen this. But Morgan is actually going to win this trade. The question is, does he stay here and get flanked by the set jungle?
I was going to say, I feel like WE watched the last game because we saw Morgan do it with Beishang following up as well as teaching around moving over.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, let's learn from that last game, guys.
Yeah, different situation. They are obviously just going to walk away from the trade very happily. We are going to see that signature Dark Harvest for the Echo jungle from Beishang.
Yep.
This is what he always runs.
Yep, Beishang always on the Dark Harvest, more about building up those souls and snowballing, especially in the later phase of the game. Echo has a bunch of rune options that he can take, but this has been Beishang's tried and true option.
Beishang actually starting on the bottom side of the map here. Ooh, could look for something at level 2, but I think he's just going to go for his Crux instead here. Just farm things up, try and get level 3, maybe move up towards the top side of the map. Morgan.
This game going so differently than before already.
Yeah, absolutely. He's able to go toe-to-toe in these trades. Bear in mind, in the last series, we saw Wukong versus Renekton. For anyone that didn't see that series, the Wukong did not win. The Wukong was like 0 CS up against 20 right at the start of the game because of a very unfortunate level 1. Not going to be the same situation. This time it's Wukong winning.
The Renekton had a black cleaver when the Wukong had a Doran's Flame.
It wasn't pretty. It was not pretty. But do you know what is pretty? This trading coming out from Top Esports in the bottom side. Beishang going to be clearing his jungle. Did spot the ward that got dropped down and has Sweeper already, so he'll be able to keep control of his own side of the map. And now moving in towards the mid lane. Yeah,
when we look at WE's composition, it is all about not finding the picks in the mid lane.
But doesn't that just illustrate exactly what we were talking about before? Morgan is a team player. He wants to make things happen around the map. He's not looking for the win in the 1v1. Even if he can find it, he'll get it. But ultimately, he's about moving around the map, and we see it with the roam.
I was going to say it's very fitting that the best top laner in LPL doing this is Zoom. And of course, Morgan spent a long time under Zoom on Joy Dream in the LDL. So great to see WE are one of the best teams at moving their pressures around the map. But moving over to top, because it does sound like we're building WE up to be the favorite in the series, I feel like top have a draft that they're very happy with, where you have the ability to find ganks and picks in all 3 lanes with Rek'Sai with Renekton, Rek'Sai with Syndra, Rek'Sai with a Rakan. They're set up there, and this is the way top like to play the game. Find a lane advantage, get a gank off, snowball that. Again, use your individual prowess. We know Knight's going to play amazingly in the mid game on this Syndra, and just never take your foot off the gas pedal once you get that first kill.
And I think that really accurately describes Knight as a player as well. The way that you worded that was, we know he's going to perform well in the mid game. But before he gets to that point, his top laner could be in trouble. 369 getting ganked by Beishang, forced the flash. C-Drive Resonance will come on through, but it's just going to be the Summoner burnt in the top lane there.
Ooh. Great setup by Morgan earlier on, though. We did see him push in the lane. Obviously bouncing back, but good job by 369 as well to dodge the gank. Still having to blow his flash, not going to be able to pressure as hard as he would have liked. And when you're on something like the Echo for Beishang, it really is just all about getting to your AP jungle item. Then your clear speed becomes so much faster. You can just be constantly on the map looking for these skirmishes where Echo really excels.
Castle wants to try and find a play in the top side of the map right now. Morgan will be recalling. He knows that he can't go for a dive just yet. He's going to settle for a Gromp. Had the ward there from earlier, so he's going to be able to come and reap the benefits of that knowledge.
Yep, and with Morgan TPing back in with a Kindle Gem, he should feel pretty safe up in the top lane. And Knight having consistent pressure as the Syndra, so constantly getting the wards on these Raptors, really good information for top, for their bot lane to continue to play pretty aggressively from what we've seen, with them already having a CS advantage.
So talk to me a little bit about this mid lane matchup, because we were saying how Knight, you expect him to do very well during the mid stages of the game on the Syndra, but Pantheon, I'd expect to struggle a little bit as a melee into the likes of a Syndra, but ultimately he's doing okay in CS.
Yep, Pantheon, you will do pretty fine. You have an easy time farming that lane, and for you it's all about getting to the stage where you can look for the all-in. Has been hard for him in the early levels when you're against something like a Rek'Sai.
Oh, stun into stun, but Knight sidesteps away from the parallel convergence. Doesn't have much mana, but he's got Karsa waiting in the wings. Flash forward from Beisheng, though. In fact, it wasn't even a flash, it was just a phase dive. Now on to Teachama. Aegis Assault going to be on cooldown, but there's a stun to force Karsa away. They're going to walk away with this one. Importantly, 3 flashes burnt there. Beisheng's still available. Yeah,
and this is what we were just talking about for WE, that Pantheon wants to look for the all-in, but it's all about when Beisheng can be around mid, because if you go for that all-in and the Rek'Sai is there, of course, Rek'Sai has so many avenues that he can gank the mid lane from with those tunnels, so being able to blow that flash on Knight was really critical, but kind of overstaying with Beisheng trying to get on top of Knight, giving Karsa a return gank onto Teachama.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier on that a lot of the power that comes out from the side of Top Esports is individual player power. And so far this game, we're actually starting to see that in the form of CS advantages. Photic in the bottom lane, 20 CS up. In the mid lane, a slight advantage for Knight. And then in the top lane as well, 369 is starting to build a bit of a lead over the likes of Morgan.
Yeah, but we do have... Ooh.
Oh, here we go. This is the team play that we see out of WE. Execute onto Karsa. Chocho with a concussive blow, stacking up, could be in trouble. They're going to go for the dragon first. Beisheng smites it away. And the top bottom lane is going to walk away safely.
And this is the way I would describe WE's kind of styles, that it's all about creating those numbers advantages where they get the picks, come out ahead, and turn that into the objective. It's something they've done so well and have been one of the most exciting teams to watch. But as we were talking about before, Topper is still creating those CS advantages. We've seen the Wukong consistently fail in the LPL. Renekton is coming out ahead in this lane. Of course, Photic doing very well in that bottom lane. Does come down to having the Rakan against the Braum, where you're just going to constantly be able to put pressure on them. Of course, no kill pressure on either side, and it does look like Photic's been able to come out ahead in some trades to force Jomung on some early recalls. Speaking of recalls, they're heading up towards the Herald.
They are going to head up towards that Herald there. I like this from WE, keeping the acceleration going. They know that they're the ones that can get over there first with the earlier recall. It means that they can set up to just take this away. Also, worth mentioning, Teachama's on Pantheon. This is the point in the game where Pantheon will do the most. He's able to burst people down. He's got so much CC and so much protection. It's very difficult to face check into a champion like that.
Yep, Pantheon in the early game just having so much burst, also providing a lot of setup for your Echo, but still on the side of Top Esports, you're going to be able to get so much plate gold and a CS advantage onto this, building up on the CS advantage that she already has, getting to that late game Kai'Sa, which we know is so strong.
Oh, WE though. Usually it's Morgan moving to them. This time it's the other way around. Not going to set up for the dive though. They give 369 an opportunity to walk away. They say, look, we respect you as a player. This is your chance to walk away. We just want your tower.
I still would have liked to see Morgan head towards that bottom lane, because ultimately on the side of WE, you're still sharing XP, you're sharing local plate gold, while everything is getting funneled onto Photic right now.
Photic going to be able to pick up a lot. And Photic, you could see he wanted to recall. He actually nearly went for the recall, but realized that this was the play coming out from WE. Really well read from the side of top to trade a lot of those plates in the bottom lane. But importantly, the tower still goes down first for WE. They're going to get a second charge out of their Herald. And there's not that much of an answer here. 369 will be able to deny anything further. But look how many minions he's going to get for himself.
Yet ultimately, gold is still even on both sides. And Kai'Sa now has almost a 40 CS advantage, with Renekton still winning in that top side. And again, you just shared all of that XP across your team. So for top, I don't think you feel too bad about that trade. The good thing for WE is now you can consistently continue to move your soul laners around the map. Because now that top lane's open, we can go back up top, kind of just clear out the wave and continue to look for these plays, especially in 2 minutes when Dragon spawns.
Now, we talked about Beisheng earlier on as a very proactive jungler that wants to make things happen for his laners, but we do have to bear in mind he's playing Echo. It does take a little while before he's able to do that as much as he wants to on this pick. Does need to wait until he's got his ultimate. He is now level 7 though, so you'd expect that he's going to start to be a bit more proactive and start to force the issue against top.
As he's doing right now.
Looking towards the top lane, 369, ult in from Teachama, Grand Starfall there. Morgan gonna head up the attack, gets the knockup with the Cyclone, flash from 369, but it's followed from Morgan. One more auto takes him down. And that's a nice kill onto 369. What did top do in response?
Top really have nothing they can answer with. Of course, we expect to see Karsa head towards the bot lane and put some pressure onto Jomung and Missing. But that pick coming off so well, Beisheng's already in the mid lane. Beisheng can hover towards bottom, and you're about to have your TP up on Morgan as well, so doesn't feel like top have a play that they can respond. It really just was a mistake coming out from 369.
Karsa dodges away from the stun. Will avoid the passive damage there from... Oh, Beisheng has to use his Chrono Break there. Very nice Scatter the Weak from Knight to threaten. But both teams walk away from it. 40 seconds until Drake spawns.
Yeah, and we do see the side of top getting those resets now, which will be nice. So they are going to be able to come back on the map with those items built. But actually, they were able to cancel Photic's recall, and now they're all ending it.
Oh, Photic. It's all going to be done for you, my friend. I don't think he should have used the heal there. I think he should have just tried to hold on to the summoners. And this is the thing, we said it earlier, Jomung happy to be aggressive, and Missing will be the playmaker when he's got the chance.
And this is unfortunate. When we were talking up that Photic's been playing a lot better, it does just look like from the mini-map that they were going for an aggressive recall. Yep, and that's what happens. Jomung cancels it with his E. Able to jump in. We talked about how they have double exhaust. Unfortunately, still getting knocked up, and now there's no hope for him. This just was a very kind of rookie mistake.
Unfortunate for Photic there. Gets caught out. That does lose a lot of the tempo that top had started to build up for themselves, as he has to reset slowly, and it does mean that they had no opportunity to do anything like starting the Dragon there.
Still great by top. They had push in the top lane, they have 369 rotate down first, and now they control all the vision.
Chocho tries to get a knockup, but won't quite find Beisheng there. The rest of the team jumps on in. Chrono Break available, and that's a huge chunk onto Karsa. Now onto the rest of the squad. Top 4 men strong still. Chocho's used the quickness, so all he's going to have is that knockup. 369 tanking up for the squad, but the concussive blows are stacking up. There's a stun and a knockup. A bullet time to finish him off. WE are 5-0 against top right now.
WE are on the champions they're comfortable with. We talked about how they have such a strong early game coming out from this Pantheon and the Misfortune. Top getting too aggressive, and WE just getting the picks they need, turning that into a Dragon. They didn't even need the numbers advantage that we set them up for.
This is magnificent from WE, and we talked about it. Their strength is in numbers. 8 together strong, and with this Wukong, they're proving that.
But we see top are the ones who try and engage that. They use the GLP from Knight. Chocho jumps in and misses. Beisheng doesn't get hit, and then they're just easily able to lock Karsa down, who was trying to follow up. And now 369 just being so aggressive when you're in a 4v5 situation.
And it felt like the whole of top there, it looked like they felt that they could fight, right? It seemed like they wanted to take the 4v5, but you're already behind. Like, well, how are you ever going to win that?
This is why we saw top lose to Rogue Warriors just the other day in that game too, where top are going to take every skirmish, and they're always going to be the ones to engage. Me and you were actually talking about before broadcast that I feel like top is the team that they do so well at punishing enemy mistakes. So if you start the objective first, I feel like top's going to find an avenue into the fight and really be able to come out ahead. But when they're the aggressor, and it feels like they're always trying to be the aggressor, even when their comp shouldn't be, they're just going to lose, right? Again, we're at a point right now where it feels like WE's champions are just better.
It certainly feels that way to me so far this game. And Karsa and 369, the biggest defenders so far. Karsa going way too deep on the Rex side during that last fight. And as you rightly said in the replay as well, 369 posturing at the front line, posturing like he wanted to go back in, but Like, there's no way that you win a 4v5 at this point. Look at the gold for Jomung.
Yeah, and this is where WE wants to be. Have all your gold on Jomung. He's going to make those aggressive plays, but now he has the items to do so. Come out ahead in these later game team fights where all the setup was just down to people like Teacherma, Missing, and Beishang.
Now, we do have to keep things in proportion here. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, because the gold lead is only 1,500 for WE. They've still got a lot of work to do, and Top know how to play the map. Straight onto a tier 2 bottom. They know that Rift Herald was going down in the meantime, so they capitalize with an objective elsewhere.
Yeah, but now WE are going to be able to force the Rift Herald on the mid lane, going to be able to pick up that mid turret and consistently be able to roam around the map more. But the TP coming out from 369, really nice.
Yeah, but the charge still goes through, and in the meantime, Morgan's in the top lane right now. The Herald goes down. They don't get the mid tier 1, but the tier 2 in the bottom lane is traded regardless.
Yeah, so still relatively even, still in the same place we were only a few minutes ago. And when it comes down to straight up 5v5s at this point in the game, I still feel like I favor WE and their ability to make it a 5v4 or 4v3 with this ultimate from Pantheon.
Yeah, I mean, we always have to bear in mind as well, Botic is on the Kai'Sa. We know Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa was played pretty much every game for the whole of 2019. This is a champion that takes a couple of items before she's going to take over anything. She's only got that Muraman, or that Mana Moon, sorry, right now. It's going to take a while before that stacks up. Needs to get the Rage Blade, needs to get whichever item path she wants to go for next. But 3 items, that's when she'll really start to do damage.
Also, on the side of Top, you also do have a ton of burst. So if you land some CC onto someone like Jomung with a Rek'Sai, Syndra, and Kai'Sa, they're pretty much dead. So there are still pathways to win this game, getting that vision set up, finding the picks. Speaking of picks,
Chocho uses the Grand Entrance just to get away this time. Chocho so far has had a quiet game. Obviously no kills so far for Top. He's not been the one getting caught out though.
I think a quiet game from Chocho is a good game from Chocho though.
That's kind of mean.
Hey, Chocho has brought some stability to this roster, but it does feel like he often over-aggresses and puts himself in positions he shouldn't be in.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement to make. But the right amount of aggression coming out in the top lane here, as 369 realizes everyone's over towards the bottom side of the map right now from WE, because the Dragon is going to spawn soon. Morgan needs to go match.
And similar to last game, we do see the Renekton build up a huge CS advantage. Morgan just not feeling comfortable sitting up in that top lane. Now it's about looking towards the Dragon. 369 moving over first.
Oh, 369 could be in trouble here. He's in a 2v1, but 2v1 is his comfort zone right now with the Dominus. He's going to happily take the Scuttle Crab as his reward.
I was going to say, that's some trouble that he wants. And now Top are going to be able to turn towards Dragon first. And it's all about if Morgan can come in on the flank with this Wukong, but doesn't look like they have any vision set up to do it. But it looks like Top are going to look for a pick first, which we talked about. Scatter the weak, the Syndra ultimate Kai, so you have the burst to do it.
Missing is not the ideal target. Nice flash from Jomung. 369 can't get onto the Misfortune. This would be a great bullet time onto 3 targets. They force him away and Chocho goes down. WE, their team fighting is immaculate.
Yeah, and this composition should come out ahead when you aren't able to find the burst onto someone like Jomung or Beishang. Like you pointed out, Jomung had a great flash. Now they're able to turn that into a mid-turret and the Mountain Drake.
Straight over to the Drake, and this is Soul Point. Still 6-0 when it comes to kills. 3 Drakes now, they're even on towers. And the gold's still surprisingly close when you consider the rest of the scoreboard. Top very much in it, and all of that comes down to these CS deficits across the board. 40 CS in the top lane, 40 CS in the mid lane, 40 CS in the bottom lane as well.
But that's how WE likes to play the game. They're fine giving up those CS advantages in their own lanes to get to these objective first, to find these picks, and turn that into whatever objective they're trying to play for.
Knight so far 0-0 and 0, but he's heading towards his second item on this Syndra. And every single item she spikes so hard. Hit level 11 as well, so that ultimate is going to be 1 level higher. Syndra, you have to bear in mind with Jomung not having summoners available, if he's caught by a Scatter the Weak, he will get one shot.
Yep, but I do like this redemption coming out from missing, just making sure, hey, if we can survive that initial burst, we should come out ahead, you know, when it comes mid-game, which we still are. So no late-game Kai'Sa. We're still in a good place for WE. You have the tools to survive. Beishang also picking up that Proto Belt, going to be easily able to get onto Photic or Knight. And you're at Soul Point.
Yeah, Soul Point for WE. 4 minutes until that next Drake, and that is going to be a big win condition for them. And also it's Mountain Drake. When you've got things like a Syndra on your squad, when you've got things like a Kai'Sa that wants to jump into the backline and assassinate someone, them having a bunch of extra resistances as well as a shield is certainly not the ideal scenario. Missing is going to be grouping up with the rest of his squad here. Grand Starfall comes through. Photic walks away, but 369 does manage to slice out as well. Teacherma trying to force the fight, but very good respect coming out from top to know this isn't a fight they want.
Yep, top able to back off, but it allows WE to go and clear out all of top's vision. So I'd say worth it for the use of that ultimate.
And that's exactly what they're trying to achieve with the ulti as well. Just try and get control of the game. If they get a pick, great, fantastic. We turn onto Baron. If not, okay, we just set up vision. We take control of the area and then rinse and repeat in a couple of minutes' time.
And we do see pings coming down for the side of WE, wanting to cover this mid lane, knowing that top esports is posturing around there.
I can barely see the minimap for the amount of pings that are going on right now. Both teams grouping up, both teams potentially looking for a fight. Parallel Convergence in the mid lane. Teacherma has found Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa saw him walk up. He's still happy to take a little bit of damage there. Beishang, though, will be charmed. That's going to be a knock-up onto Xiaomeng, but the Scatter the Weak doesn't connect. Teacherma now steps forward confidently. And top, they make an attempt, but it's not going to work out.
They're trying so desperately to get on top of Xiaomeng, but it seems like WE realizes, hey, top esports' only win condition right now is to burst me down. If they're not able to do that, we win these fights, and they're playing around it beautifully.
Yeah, they just have to keep playing around that for another couple of minutes till that Mountain Soul. And that's going to make that win condition oh so much easier for WE. And I can't believe I'm looking at a scoreboard here of 6-0 at 20 minutes against WE and top. I thought this was going to be an absolute bloodbath. I thought that this was going to be action non-stop. But a lot of respect coming out from both teams.
Yeah, it's really surprising. When me and you were talking before the cast, you're saying, okay, WE has been a very proactive team and like to force, and top are so good at punishing these teams that like to over-aggress on top of them. And we kind of expected 2 bloody but quick games in favor of top. But now here we are, a very slow game with WE pulling out ahead.
And it very much feels like when you look at these two teams on paper, it's proactivity versus reactivity, right? Top are going to try and figure out what you're doing, respond to it, and try and shut you down. Whereas on the other side, as you rightly say, WE, they're going to group up, they're going to play things like the Pantheon, like the Wukong, and force plays. You can see Teacherma jumping on in as well. 369 doesn't have his flash available right now. Still not there. Dominus comes through, and he's burst down by Beishang. Great play from WE to find a pick. Now onto this bottom lane tier 2.
Great use of that Proto Belt, and now bringing every member of WE over, being able to put some pressure down, but Chocho...
3-man knockup, but missing is unbreakable.
Yep.
There's no way to get through the Braum's shield. Another tier 2 falls. Now, 30 seconds until that Mountain Soul.
Well, I feel like this is just coming down to draft difference.
Really? You don't like the top draft?
Like, I like top's draft for top. This is what top does. Top likes to pick a bunch of matchups that have a lot of kill threat.
Yeah.
I was expecting more to happen. I'm still expecting more to happen.
I was too. Caster tunnels forward. Top are going to muscle control of this mid lane, but it's matched by WE. This is now going to get real tense because there's no way that top will give up this soul. Teacherma on the front line.
And we need to keep our eyes, once again, as always, on Chocho and especially Karsa looking for this flank. Can they get onto Xiaomeng in the back line? But right now you have Beishang, who's also so big as well as Teacherma.
I'm curious how Morgan will play this fight as well on the Wukong. Obviously, can get huge knockups, but whether or not he plays defensively, whether he uses those knockups to try and protect Xiaomeng. Teacherma clearing out in the mid lane.
I feel like WE just play this team fight front to back.
Here we go. He wants to force the play into the backline, straight onto the likes of Knight and Photic. They're trying to get away. Morgan just playing disruption. Jomung's in trouble, though. There's two of them onto him, and Carter shuts him down in the end. It's 4 versus 3 for top. Carter the target. He will fall to Beisheng in the end. In fact, it's Missing that gets the kill. Beisheng drops. Top are winning out this fight, but Tichama has so much damage. Goodbye, Photic. Pantheon survives, Missing recalling. But Tichama doesn't have anywhere to go. He doesn't have his ultimate to get out either. Has a teleport, but he knows there's a lot of CC for top. He can't win this 2v1 right now. Maybe he can get under the tower and perhaps execute. That's his only way out. He's going to try and find the fight onto Knight. Stunned up by 369. There's no way to win that one. Cut down in the end.
I love how he set up such a small window for top to win. They need to be able to flank and get on top of Jomung. Karsa and 369 able to do that perfectly. And also, WE did still have some follow-up damage, as shown by the picks that Tichama was able to get on the back end of that fight. But without Jomung's consistent DPS, top coming out ahead in the long run, and WE are the ones to engage, but keep your eyes on the Renekton and the Rek'Sai, getting right on top of Jomung, not able to do anything. Doesn't matter if you kill Chocho on the other side, because all of your consistent DPS is gone. Now it's all about these cooldowns and your spell rotations. Tichama still able to get on to Photic right here, does still get the pick, but now you're at a point where it's a Renekton and Syndra against the Braum.
That was double exhaust used as well to try and keep Jomung alive. It didn't work. Now onto the Drake. It's going to be top that get it. Soul denied. 369 so tanky. Karsa can't escape though. It's a kill for WE. And now onto the chase down. Beisheng flashes forward. Z-Drive doesn't quite finish off 369. Can't get the proc. He will go down anyway though. Chocho chased by Morgan. Knight desperate to escape. But Missing goes forward with the ultimate. There's no follow-up. The rest of the team's not there. They still get the kill, though. Knight goes down.
And this is what happens when you get the front-to-back team fight you want, with top picking up the Dragon, being choked into that narrow choke point. Jomung left untouched, WE able to run forward, get the picks needed, and now they can take the Baron.
Yeah, WE, they're like, you know what? You can have the Mountain Drake. We're more than happy to trade you because we've got a Baron on the cards. Missing will clear the vision. They'll set on up. And Karsa, he's respawned, but there's no way to get here in time. WE maintain control.
Yeah, and we've really been talking so much about Jomung when it comes to WE, because that's how they choose to play, but it really feels like the big members on this team were just highlighted by that graphic. Beisheng and Missing have been playing so well this split. Beisheng, as we talked about, has been a pillar for this team. 4-1-6 on the Echo is huge, and Missing doing such a crucial job at keeping the members of Top Esports at bay, peeling for Jomung and giving him the room he needs.
Yeah, and Tichama as well. We keep seeing Beisheng and Tichama as like this dive duo that just jumps straight into the back of the fight.
Yeah, and I feel like they've been such a good supporting cast when we see Tichama and Morgan especially, but here they do get on top of Top Esports. Karsa being able to use the stopwatch still goes down in the end, and this is the perfect fight for WE because, again, they're the ones running away. They're not able to get onto your AD carry. You can just keep running forward. There's no potential damage there, and you come out ahead.
So I didn't see... What is it? Oh, it's a double up on Chocho. I couldn't figure out what killed Knight during that fight. The double up onto Chocho, he's hero's entrances away, and then suddenly the bounce finishes him off.
That's why we said a quiet game is a good game from Chocho. So
oh, no.
Typically when we have to talk about Chocho.
Oh, poor Chocho. Poor Chocho. Very unfortunate for him. And Knight, he's going to be SMHing his head off the back of that play. But now, Baron for WE, if I can speak. They can set up on these lanes, and most importantly, they're still going to look for these picks. They're going to look for ways to dive into these fights.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard to pressure these turrets, though, because the side of top does actually have some pretty decent wave clear with the Syndra and the Kai'Sa. You also have champions like Echo, like Pantheon, not a strong siege comp, so it really comes down to being able to find these kills, and it doesn't feel like they're in a position where they can really dive these turrets just yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this composition is all about diving the backline, but the backline is safe behind these castle walls. It's going to be very difficult to try and force a play until that dragon comes back up, but Baron is going to come down long before that Mountain Drake spawns.
Also unfortunate because if they had Pantheon ultimate and the Wukong teleport up, they could try to pressure all three lanes and have constant global pressure, obviously with Pantheon and Wukong.
Yeah.
But without that, that's just not really a viable strategy. Still going to send Beisheng up to force this wave and maybe sync it up with the mid wave and put some pressure there another way.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Morgan now going to group up with the squad, realizing they can't go for the full 3 lanes. Just going to go for a 4-man group. Beisheng tries to find Karsa. Karsa respecting the damage that can come out from the 4-1-6 Echo. You have to bear in mind that, team fights and everything, that's great, but if Beisheng finds someone alone and they ain't tanky, he's going to one-shot.
Yeah, Beisheng so far ahead right now, already having the Lich Bane, of course. Probably also sitting on some gold to make his way towards another item. We would expect it to be the Zhonya's, just for the fact he is the one jumping into these fights, so getting that, more durability is going to be great. Maybe he looks to snowball, though. Goes towards something like a Death Cap would be pretty fun. Regardless, if he finds someone on the side of Top Esports, he has a pretty good shot of just bursting them down.
He really does. GA has come through for Jomung as the 3rd item. It's not what you usually see on the Miss Fortune, but I think in this situation it's understandable. Knockup doesn't land onto Karsa. But they're still going to commit to this one. Grand Starfall comes in. Teachama blocks a lot of damage. Bullet time completely interrupted. Jojo's a monster. He will fall for his troubles, but can they win the fight? The answer is no, because he's going to go down as well. Morgan can't do anything as he's barely surviving. 369 finish off. Photic goes huge. Gets one onto Teachama. But one is not enough. 3 have fallen. Knight desperately trying to escape. Morgan wants it. Flashes for it and brings down his staff.
And that was a 4v5. Beisheng wasn't even there, but WE still able to come out ahead. And they might be able to look to end.
They're going to try and finish things off here. Photic, there's nothing he's going to be able to do to stop this one. He got 1 good kill in the fight. But as I said before, 1 wasn't enough. 30 seconds until Knight's back. Chocho has respawned but doesn't have the quickness or the flash available. Jomung is still here. The tower damage exists. Chocho just going to get absolutely burst out of this one. Nexus is bare. WE looking to try and finish this game off. They will do it. They go 1-0 against Top.